There are two kinds of people in this world. Those who chase fast money, like hungry ghosts, always wanting more, always getting less, always starting over. And those who build dynasties, like the ancient Chinese merchants for over 5,000 years, as empires rose and fell, as currencies came and went, as markets boomed and crashed. Chinese wisdom has preserved something precious. Not just money, but knowledge of how real wealth truly flows. How real fortune truly lasts. How real dynasties truly endure. Here is the truth that will unsettle your Western assumptions. While the West thinks in quarters, China thinks in centuries. While Americans plan for retirement, the Chinese plan for 7 generations. While Wall Street chases annual returns, ancient Chinese merchants built wealth that lasted 1,000 years. The Rothschild family had wealth for 200 years. The Rockefeller family for 150 years. But Chinese merchant families have preserved fortunes for over 1,000 years. Today, I reveal 5 hidden lessons buried in Chinese history. Lessons that have created more generational wealth, lasting prosperity, enduring empires than any Western strategy. But what will shock you the most? The 5th lesson reveals why Western financial advice actually destroys dynastic wealth. Comment dynasty wealth if you're ready to learn what Chinese masters have known for 50 centuries. Let's uncover the first lesson. Number 1. The 7-generation thinking principle. Most Americans make financial decisions based on immediate needs. This month's credit card bill, next year's Hawaii vacation, their own 401k retirement. They think in quarters, they plan in years, they invest for a few decades, at most. But here is what limits them. Short-term thinking creates short-term wealth. Quarterly plans give quarterly results. But the enlightened know a different truth. Real wealth is not built for your lifetime, but for your lineage, for your unborn children, for unimagined greatness. Chinese emperors thought in 7-generation cycles. Every decision weighed the impact on descendants 7 generations later. Ancient Chinese philosophy from the Zhou dynasty, founded 3,000 years ago, embedded 7-generation thinking into governance and commerce. Confucian teachings emphasized ancestral responsibility. A wise man plants a tree knowing he will never sit in its shade. The I Ching taught that wealth flows in 60-year cycles, requiring multi-generational planning to capture the full cycle. Tang dynasty merchants operated on century-long business plans, with family constitutions governing wealth transfer across generations. Chinese ancestral temples preserved not just ancestor records, but detailed financial guidelines to maintain family wealth through political turmoil and social change. During the Song dynasty lived the Wang family, silk merchants who created an 8th century financial plan. While contemporary families spent their fortunes in one generation, the Wangs established different principles. They divided their family wealth into 3 sacred portions: 1/3 for current operations, 1/3 for expansion, and 1/3 to be left untouched for future generations. Each generation was taught these principles from childhood. When the Mongols invaded and destroyed many wealthy families, the Wangs survived because their wealth was dispersed and preserved according to their ancestral plan. When dynasties changed, they thrived again. Through 8 dynastic changes, wars, famines, and revolutions, the Wang family preserved and multiplied their wealth because their plan extended beyond individual lifetimes. The profound truth the Wang family discovered: today's sacrifice becomes tomorrow's legacy. Dynastic thinking creates dynastic wealth. Based on the Wang family's story, divide your money into 3 parts as they did: 1/3 for daily expenses, 1/3 for growth investments, 1/3 stored absolutely for your descendants. Open a trust fund that cannot be touched for 20 years. Start with $500 per month into each portion. Comment 7 generations if you're ready to sacrifice today so your descendants can be wealthy tomorrow. Plant trees for children you will never meet. Generational planning creates generational wealth. But the second lesson reveals why ancient trade routes still guides modern investing. Number 2. The Silk Road Diversification Principle. Most American investors put all their money into U.S. stocks, USD, U.S. real estate, everything American. They believe America is eternal. They believe the dollar is forever. They assume their homeland will always prosper. But here's what history teaches. Every empire eventually falls. Every currency eventually fails. Every market eventually crashes. But the wise understand something deeper. True safety comes from spreading risk across continents, across civilizations, across entirely different worlds. Chinese merchants invented the true global diversification strategy 2,000 years ago. Ancient Chinese Silk Road merchants from the Han Dynasty created the world's first true global diversification strategy. They spread their wealth across 40 countries, trading in dozens of currencies and commodities. The network of the famous merchant Zhang Qian spanned 3 continents, with warehouses in Samarkand, Damascus, Constantinople, and Rome. When war closed the western routes, they traded east with Japan and Korea. When northern routes were blocked, they moved south through Southeast Asia. Chinese merchants held assets in gold, silver, jade, spices, silk, horses, and land across multiple kingdoms, understanding that political turmoil in one region meant opportunity in another. During the Yuan dynasty, the merchant Li Wei lived, who perfectly embodied this principle. While other merchants concentrated their wealth in China, Li Wei dispersed his assets across the known world. He owned silk warehouses in Persia, spice farms in Ceylon, gold mines in Africa, and trading posts in Europe. When the Black Death devastated European markets, his Asian investments prospered. When Mongol invasions disrupted Central Asian routes, his maritime investments in Southeast Asia thrived. When the Chinese currency devalued during political turmoil, his foreign assets protected his wealth. Through 40 years of constant global change, Li Wei's diversified empire not only survived but multiplied, because no single disaster could destroy his scattered investments. The profound truth Li Wei discovered: when one road closes, 9 others remain open. Geographic diversification defeats political devastation. Based on Li Wei's strategy, spread your investments as he did. 40% US stocks, VTI, 25% international, VTIAX, 20% emerging markets, VWO, 15% real estate, VNQ. Open a Roth IRA and 401k to optimize taxes. Hold a portion of assets in foreign currencies via currency ETFs. Start with $1,000 in each category, adding $300 a month to each region. Comment Silk Road if you understand that safety comes from spreading risk globally. A wise merchant never travels a single road. Global diversification creates long-term safety. But the third lesson reveals why patience is the ultimate wealth-multiplying strategy. Number 3, the bamboo patience principle. Most American investors want instant returns. They panic when the market dips. They sell off during volatility. They switch strategies. Every time there's bad news, they believe that investing must yield immediate results. They measure success by monthly gains. But here's what destroys them. Impatience, it is the enemy of wealth. A panicked mindset destroys long-term fortunes. But the enlightened know something deeper. Real wealth grows like Chinese bamboo. The first year's slow growth underground, but the 6th year, it explodes 90 feet into the sky. Patience turns pennies into palaces. Taoist philosophy teaches Wu Wei, non-forced action, letting things grow naturally over time. Confucius said, "The superior man is not in a hurry." The I Ching describes wealth as flowing water. It cannot be rushed, only guided. Buddhist monks teach that instant desire is the source of financial suffering. Chinese emperors understood that the best decisions are made in stillness, not in haste. The Ming Dynasty built the Forbidden City over 14 years, without rushing, to create a masterpiece that has lasted 600 years. During the Qing Dynasty lived the Li family, poor farmers in the rural province of Shanxi. While their neighbors spent their copper coins as soon as they earned them, the Li family did something different. They lived on 60% of their income, storing 40% as copper coins in earthenware jars. Year after year, the jars of coins slowly filled. Neighbors laughed, "Why live so miserably? Enjoy life." But the Li family understood what they did not. After 50 years of patient accumulation, when a famine struck, they used their mountain of coins to buy up the entire province for pennies on the dollar from desperate people. Patience turned a poor farming family into the region's largest landowners. The profound truth the Li family discovered: patience turns pennies into palaces. Time is wealth's greatest friend. Based on the Li family, apply the 40-60 rule. Save 40% of your income, live on only 60%. If you earn $5,000 a month, live on $3,000, invest $2,000. Put it into index funds, S&P 500, and don't touch it for 20 to 30 years. Calculation: $2,000 per month by 30 years at 7% interest equals $2.4 million. Comment bamboo patience if you understand that wealth comes from time, not speed. Bamboo bends but does not break, grows slowly but lives forever. Patience multiplies wealth exponentially. But the fourth lesson reveals why relationships, they are more important than transactions. Number 4, the Guanxi Network Principle. American culture glorifies individual success. They believe in competition. They build empires by defeating others. They think wealth comes from winning. They believe that business, it is a zero-sum war. But here's what limits them: solo success. It is a long-term failure. Competition creates enemies. Isolation leads to collapse. But the enlightened know something different. Real wealth flows through relationships, through trust, through mutual benefit, through helping each other. The Chinese call this Guanxi, not networking, but an extended family. Confucian philosophy teaches that Ren, benevolence and harmonious relationships, is the foundation of prosperity. Chinese merchant guilds built empires not through conquest, but through alliances. The Tongshanhui system connected merchants from the same hometown across the world, creating a network of credit and support that transcended borders. Chinese merchant families understood that one person walks fast, but many people walk far. The win-win philosophy helped Chinese merchants build relationships that lasted centuries instead of one-time transactions. During the Ming Dynasty, the Shanxi merchants controlled 70% of China's banking system, not through money, but through relationships. They created the Piaohao, the world's first remittance system based entirely on trust. A merchant in Beijing could send money to Guangzhou without transporting gold or silver, just a piece of paper and a trusted relationship. This network operated for 500 years, surviving wars, famines, and dynastic changes because it was built on family ties and trust, not legal contracts. When the West arrived with cannons, they still could not break this network. The profound truth the Shanxi merchants discovered: wealth flows through relationships, not transactions. Trust creates a richer bank account. Based on the Shanxi merchants, apply the 5-1 rule. Help 5 people succeed before asking them for one favor. Join local business networking groups and connect with people in your industry. Spend 2 hours a week having coffee with potential partners with no sales agenda. Remember people's birthdays, hobbies, and families. Comment Guanxi is gold if you understand that rich people have rich relationships. Rich relationships create richer bank accounts. Trust compounds faster than interest. But the final lesson challenges everything modern culture teaches about spending. Number 5, the stealth wealth principle. American culture equates spending with success. They buy expensive cars to impress strangers. They wear designer clothes to feel successful. They live in McMansions. They can't afford it. They eat at 5-star restaurants to post on Instagram. But here's what destroys them. Looking rich prevents becoming rich. Spending to impress destroys real wealth. But the enlightened know something different. Real wealth whispers in silence. While poverty screams in the noise, truly rich people live like ordinary people so they can invest like millionaires. Confucian philosophy teaches frugality, living simply to accumulate wisdom and wealth. Taoism emphasizes jizu, knowing when you have enough is wealth. Buddhism warns against greed. Endless desire leads to financial suffering. Ancient Chinese scholars believed the superior man does not show off his wealth, but accumulates it quietly. The famous saying, "A well-patched coat is warmer than a forgotten new one," teaches that practicality matters more than display. Traditional wealthy Chinese families lived simply to protect their wealth from envy and theft. During the Qing dynasty lived a poor scholar named Wang Ming in a small village near Beijing. While the wealthy merchants around him dressed lavishly and lived in luxurious mansions, Wang Ming lived in a small house and ate rice with pickled vegetables. People mocked him for his miserable life. But Wang Ming had a secret. Every coin he saved was invested in land and lent out at interest. For 40 years, he lived on 30% of his income, investing the other 70%. When he died, it was discovered he owned half the city. His simple life was a veil hiding a vast financial empire. The profound truth Wang Ming discovered: real wealth whispers while poverty screams. The man dressed as a farmer can own like an emperor. Based on Wang Ming, apply the rule of living on 60% of your income. If you earn $8,000 per month, live on only $4,800, invest the remaining $3,200. Buy a used car instead of a new one and cook at home instead of expensive restaurants. Calculation: $3,200 buys 12 months is 30 years equals $1.152 million invested. At 7% returns, $3.2 million. Comment stealth wealth if you understand that truly rich people don't need to prove anything to anyone. The rich dress like farmers. Farmers dress like the rich. Simplicity is the fastest path to wealth. Now you understand the 5 ancient laws that have created financial dynasties. While others chase an impossible dream, now you know the 5 ancient lessons. Lessons that have created more silent millionaires, more lasting wealth, more recession-proof empires than any Western strategy. 7-generation thinking instead of quarterly profits. Global diversification instead of home bias. Bamboo patience instead of instant gratification. Guanxi networks instead of cutthroat competition. Stealth wealth instead of loud poverty. But here is the truth that will unsettle your American soul. While everyone chases unicorns, millionaires choose war horses. While the crowd hunts for innovation, the wise profit from repetition. While others seek disruption, the wealthy serve essential needs. These lessons have worked for 5,000 years. Through recessions and booms, through technological changes, through social upheavals, they endure because they solve problems that never disappear. The question is not whether these lessons work. They have worked for millennia. The question is, will you choose the ancient path to achieve extraordinary wealth? Most Americans will not. They will chase the next shiny object. They will believe complexity creates profit. But now you know differently. If you are ready to stop chasing business mirages, if you are ready to start building a boring empire, comment ancient wisdom below. Choose one Chinese lesson to study this week. Take one step towards unsexy wealth. And remember this timeless truth: the ancient roads lead to extraordinary destinations. While others chase excitement, you will choose freedom. While others hunt for unicorns, you will ride the war horse. While others dream of disruption, you will profit from repetition. Your wealth is not hidden in a complex algorithm. It is sitting quietly in the most boring of places. The transfer has begun. The only question is, will you choose ancient gold or modern poverty?